It's time. Welcome, everyone. Thank you very much for joining this beautiful evening here in Houston and wherever you're joining from. So I am Srividya, and I am the administrator for the Eat Life for Indian Palates group. Very short story. I started about 6 years back. I live in Texas, where vegetarianism wasn't that popular at those times, and I formed with my friends. I started this group, and from then it has become a global group of 180,000 people. The friends recommending friends, and the idea was finding healthy vegetarian eats and how you could live a completely 360-degree good life, right, without ailments, eating vegetarian food. This was the mission of the group. And since then, over 5 years, it was a lot of ideas sharing. And very recently, I'm collaborating with brands that resonate with the exact same idea, right? Healthy eating, quick as a working parent, have children. And how can we get food to table faster? Because this is a decision we make every single day. And there is too much of distracted processed foods all around the market. So, and that's where I'm finding brands which do this. And Cumin Club I came across through a Facebook ad actually, and I wanted to give it a try, and I'm honestly impressed. Like it's very convenient, and I saw the ingredients clean, easy to make. Check. So super excited to have Achala here, who is she's going to introduce herself with actual title. She leads the marketing efforts with Cumin Club, and we are going to start off right here. Tell us the story, Achala, and how did Cumin Club come about life, and what do you do there? If you can introduce yourself.
Absolutely. So, hi everyone. My name is Achala. I work for the Cumin Club. I am the marketing director, but a title is just a title. The marketing team is really just me, and I have one marketing associate under me. So we're a group of just 4 people here in Chicago and a small team in India. But I'm happy to share the story of how we got started. So we have 3 co-founders in our company. All of them are from Tamil Nadu. So Ragot, Bala, Harish Vishweshwaran, Kiru Rajgopal. Back in 2019, Ragot was here. So he and Harish are both immigrants. So they came to this country about 10 years ago. They were working. Ragot was, just finishing up his MBA. And they were realizing that it was just really challenging for them to find foods that felt like home, right? So they're both from Tamil Nadu. If you go out here in Chicago and you're looking for Indian food, what you're finding is all the North Indian specialties, right? It's like the same, tikka masala, aloo gobi, chana masala. We're finding the same dishes over and over. And for them, that wasn't enough. He was missing his mom's upma, the pongal, all of those specialties. And his mom realized he wasn't eating well. So really, I think Auntie started this business, but she started sending him, dry roasted like upma mixes and like pongal mixes from Tamil Nadu. So she would literally pack it in a box and Garuda Vega it over to Chicago. And that's how he, started eating it every day. He was so much happier. And really the light bulb moment came for him when he realized that it was actually cheaper for his mom to send him food for lunch and dinner every day than him going and eating out or making groceries. So once he realized that actually this is something that could be really interesting for other, Indian immigrants like me, people that are looking for home cooked food, but because of their busy professional lives or they have children, they're really not able to make the time, and this could be a really great alternative for them. So he teamed up with his friend Harish, and also with Kiru, who is our lead in India, and they started this company in 2019, and since then, we've grown to be quite big. Last year in 2022, we actually served about 500,000 meals, which I think, thinking back of where they started, is just amazing and something we're really proud of. But if I go back to a little bit about what the company is, at the baseline, we make all natural, authentic Indian food, and everything is made in just about 5 minutes. And I know a lot of people can be skeptical, right? So, you're going into the Indian store, you're seeing all the Deep and Swad and Haldiram, MTR packets, they're bad for you. You look at the ingredients, they're terrible for you. They're chock full of preservatives and chemicals. I mean, I used to eat that when I was in college, and I knew they weren't good for me. So what we wanted to do here differently is that our food is actually freeze dried and roasted. And what that means is, taking some of those ancient practices of how our ancestors used to preserve food, right? So my grandmother used to take her mirchis and her papad, and she used to dry everything out in the sun, and that really helped make them last longer. So basically taking that same technology, modernizing a little bit, makes all of our food last a lot longer without having any chemicals or preservatives. So it's completely clean. Like if I read a label of our dal chawla, for example, it's literally like tur dal, rice, cumin, salt. It's very, very basic ingredients, only what you would have in your kitchen. So I'll stop there. Sure, happy to answer any other questions.
That was great, and that's what surprised me. And typically, I'm used to seeing lots of processed ingredients, preservatives, and I turned around and I was pleasantly surprised, to be honest. And like you rightly said, it's not new that we dry food and preserve, whether it is fruit, dried fruit, and these days it comes packaged in a nice format. But the preservative was pretty impressive. I tried like 5 to 6 packets so far, and pretty easy. And then I added the flexibility of adding. So maybe that was the next question. If you can show the packet for our audience, and what are we talking about? Because lots of questions came on the group that thinking it's frozen food, which is what I thought too, but it wasn't. So if you can show a packet of
yeah, absolutely, happy to share. So I have a couple here with me. So I'll show maybe something that's pretty common to people. So I have, let's see if you can see it, dal makhni here.
I can
No, it's gonna disappear because of my background. I can take my background off if that's helpful. But we have some dal makhni packet here, and then I have some masala poha here. I'm happy to cut one open. I can show you guys what it looks like. But at least for the masala poha, let me just like read the ingredients if that's helpful for people, right? So obviously the poha itself, the flattened rice, mustard seeds, cumin, urad dal, peanut, chana dal, chili powder, turmeric, salt, sugar, a little bit of like a chaat masala and peanut oil. So that's it. And then all you have to do to this is you don't even need a stove. You put this in a bowl, you add hot water, and it's done in just a couple of minutes and you're ready to eat it. So you can eat it with yogurt, some pickle, anything that you enjoy with it. But I can put it in a bowl and show you guys what it looks like.
I'm gonna show inside how it looks like, because again, when I tried,
it basically just looks like dried poha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super convenient. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, my daughter is going to go to college in 5 years, and I can totally imagine, right? There are going to be those days, no time to cook, and even though the days, it's super convenient. If I have like a Costco size of all these packets, just pick and choose, and hot water. First time, just to give idea for our audience, I put hot water and then I added this ingredient. 5 minutes, bam, done, right? And I was sick.
So and it doesn't mean like that, this is the only thing. If you want to add any chopped vegetables, so like onions and tomatoes, and you can add any fresh ingredients to the poha to make it heartier. If you want to add any proteins or chickpeas or anything like that, to really boost up that nutritional content. Like this is perfect. It really just gives you you can eat it just as is, or you can make it a little bit more exciting if you have those ingredients in your house.
Yeah, I added cream to your methi malai, which was my favorite.
Oh, that one's fantastic.
I added a little bit of cream and yogurt, and that up even more. That it was already tasty and then even better, right? So exactly. Awesome. And the spices are all. I saw paneer, and it was dried and ready to go. And then once it boiled, it became like fresh paneer. So
I think some of the freeze drying technology it's fascinating for me. I think my favorite dish that's freeze dried that we were in the plant looking at how it was made. I was in Coimbatore last year and had a chance to go to the plant, is when they make the sambar idli. You will not believe the amount of detail that's going into the process. So when they're making the batter for the idli, and they're fermenting it just like we are doing it at home. They're taking no shortcuts. There's no soda. There's no yeast like how they use in the restaurants to do that quick fermentation. We are doing the process in the way it's supposed to, that homemade natural fermentation process, in our facilities. They're, hand pouring it into all of the trays. We don't have any fancy machines yet. They're just like our team there. We're cooking, we're steaming everything, and then we're putting it into the freeze dryer where at a very, very low temperature, everything starts cooling down. And the whole process takes, about 12 hours because we don't want to rush anything. Like the idli process is meant to be made slowly, so you're getting all of that benefit of the nutrition. So we're not taking any shortcuts there.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm curious because you said Coimbatore, and this is in India, for our audience, where how do you support local businesses and communities there? I'm sure because the value chain, supply chain is global for Cumin Club. So how do you support uh, employment there in these cities and countries?
Yeah, absolutely. So our team is still pretty small in India, but in our Coimbatore facility, we have, I would say, like a solid team of 5 or 6 different chefs that rotate out through, and they're all coming from the local area around it. So we're contributing back to the business in the city that we're in, and for our food to be made on a little bit of a bigger scale, for some of our dishes where we really perfected that recipe, we're able to have, some other facilities like help us take that recipe and make it at scale. So we're able to meet demand here. So, in places like North India, we'll have a couple of facilities there and are able to, support their team by giving them business. In terms of the sourcing part of it, it's a very, intimate process. We're making these relationships with all these vendors to make sure, our spices, our fresh ingredients, everything is very, very high quality. And all of that is due to, the brilliance of the third co-founder, Kiru, who lives in India. So he very, familiar with Tamil Nadu, and he has traveled and worked in many, many parts of India beyond Tamil Nadu. So has those connections where we're able to really, find those partners that, meet our sustainability goals and are able to work with us to create this, healthy and nutritious product. And we can guarantee that there's no preservatives, no chemicals, nothing extra coming in as we're doing this sourcing. That's so important.
Interesting. Yeah. So I was just peeping at some of the questions because we posted yesterday about the business, right? So people are curious to understand the difference between frozen meals, where on the spectrum right now that you showed us, it's dry food. So how does it compare with frozen, the nutrition part? Maybe that we start there.
Yeah, absolutely. Frozen Indian food, I think, is very common, right? So we see a lot of examples in the Indian grocery stores and also the regular grocery stores. There's brands like Suki's or Amy's that, have some of those dishes. For me, there's 2 big things that set us apart. The first thing is just like you said, the nutrition. So if you look at a standard frozen meal, like a, veggie tikka masala or a chole masala, what you're going to see for all of the frozen meals that on shelves right now are either natural or artificial preservatives that are in there. So you're going to see ingredients that you're not going to be able to find in a kitchen. So that's difference number 1. Why are you putting things in your body that you're not going to be able to find in like a traditional Indian mom's kitchen, right? Number 2 for me, goes back to sustainability, which is something that I think really differentiates us, right? So through this freeze drying process, it's really wonderful because it allows us not to ship one of the world's most precious resources and most universally available resources, water, right? So why ship water from one country to another? You're, increasing that environmental footprint. There's no need for that, So with the frozen food, it's packed in ice, it's sitting in a freezer, taking up electricity. Their carbon footprint is much, much higher there. So we're able to claim that, because we're not shipping water, it's much better for the environment, and it's something everyone has at home. You just add your own water.
Wonderful. Thank you for answering. Maybe share some recipes. My favorite, the packets that we saw. I like the pongal. I like the methi matar malai. I also like the paneer butter masala. There was a paneer one. I mean, making that at home would at least take me like 25 to 30 minutes, right? With the proper deal. And this was again 5 minutes, and then you can top up with whatever. You can add more fresh paneer if you want, and then I liked, I haven't tried the sambar yet. So maybe there was a dal makhani you just showed. What
Yeah.
other the recipes come to your mind?
Absolutely. We have a ton. So we have about, 30, almost 35 now recipes. And
Wow.
yeah, a big thing for us is making sure we start to cover all the regions of India, right? Because I think South India for me is so underrepresented, but I'm sure people from East India also feel the same way. So we're trying to make sure we get them full coverage. So, starting from the South, I think some of the ones that we love and that our customers love as well is all the pohas. And what's great is we don't just have masala poha, which is like the poha that everyone's familiar with. We also have a mint poha, and we have two different pohas made with millet, which is such a good for you ancient grain. So if anyone here is familiar with like kambu, which is the Tamil word for millet, or ragi, which is also very common in South India. We have both kambu and ragi poha, which is great. And then we have a couple of pongal dishes and bisi bath, which being from Karnataka is, super amazing for me. And then going, to some of our other dishes, we have some great dishes from like Delhi and Mumbai. I think pav bhaji is our number one top seller with Indians. We've heard a lot of feedback for that dish in particular, where people have said like no other pav bhaji they've tried in the US has come even close to feeling like street food Mumbai pav bhaji. So like for us, that's the best compliment we could get. We have a couple of
forgot to mention that one. That was my favorite. I topped it with a little fresh onion and
so good.
and I was like, what? I can't believe it.
It's so good. It's so good. My husband Karthik and I we eat it probably like once a week because pav bhaji for us is such a treat. Before I joined this company, before we were eating this more often. Pav bhaji was something maybe like once a month, once every couple months we would take the time to make it. But now having it on a more regular basis has been really fun. But we also have some dishes from Punjab and Gujarat. We recently launched a Gujarati dal, which is very unique to that part of India. We also have a masala bindi, also from Gujarat, and then Punjabi we have like a Punjabi kadhi. We recently launched a bangan bharta, which is fantastic. So we'll have to send you that treat if you haven't tried it already. And then going back down to the south, we have some dishes from Kerala as well. So we have a Malabar kurma, and we also have a soya masala. So it has those soya chunks, which are pretty popular in some Indian households. So definitely some great coverage. And I think what's also fun is if you're looking for sides, if you're looking for chutney or sambar, we have those too. So you have an option to add some of those on. And again, same thing, just add hot water.
Yeah. So this is amazing because I would recommend that leads to natural question, right? For our Eat Light members, if you share the link on our post, right, they can do the sample. Is there also a sample packet or something where they can try a few, pick and choose a few and then try? Is that how
we're about to? We're hopefully launching that in the future. But I think the easiest way, if you guys want to try a little bit without committing to a full plan, and the plan I would say is extremely flexible compared to all the other plans that you see out there. So we have 5, 10, 20 meals that you can get weekly, monthly, whatever makes most sense for you. But if you're looking to try something just on a one-off basis, we have two options. We have a couple of like gift boxes or boxes that have like there's a box that's called vegan meals. So if you're a vegan, you can try some of those. There's a bestsellers box that you can order on the gift section of our website. But we're also actually just in the past couple of weeks listed on Amazon. So we have a few different bundles on there as well. So if you're looking to try it one off before committing, those are the best options.
Yeah, like the Amazon, I think I saw a sampler package as well as the individual ones, right? And these were like $5 a packet or something, if I recall.
Yeah, we're doing bundles, I think, of 5 each for 25.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Oh, super. That is super cool. And you said you'll drop the link for our people to purchase, for our Eat Light members to purchase. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I think I covered all the questions. And in the nutrition aspect, we talked about the ingredients. We talked about how it compares with frozen. Are you there in India? Because the group has members from India as well.
Good question. I would say for all the members in India, we do sell in India, but it's a little bit of a secret right now because we haven't been talking about it very much. So if you're going, if you're going on our website and you put in your address to India, we are able to ship. And then we'll do a formal launch later on. But yes, we're able to ship to India. I think someone had a question whether I can make the food. I certainly can. I just probably need a minute to heat up some hot water, Shri, if that's okay.
Yeah, you can do that in the background, like hot water, and then we can mix them. So it was
okay.
It reminded me of ramen noodles, except it's healthy and it's Indian, right? So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Will you give me like 1 minute? Let me go see if I can get some hot water, and then I will make this poha.
Yeah. Live demo.
Since we have a few minutes, so I have the masala poha here. I just put it in like a little small container. And then I will open, well, your pick, Shri. Would you like me to make the dal makhani or the pav bhaji? I have both in front of me right now.
I love pav bhaji. Anything is okay.
Okay.
Yeah, whichever cooks in the same time. I think all of them were in the order of 5 to 10 minutes max, right? So
Yeah, I would say these two are, I think this is going to be like in the next like 2 minutes, actually.
mhm. Oh, thank
Okay.
you. Like I
Yeah,
said,
it'll be done super quick. Okay, so maybe I'll do this.
yeah, I was just wonderful. Okay. So I was just checking some of the comments while you were getting ready, Achla. Right? There were some preferences I saw, but I like the rotis. Somebody said they didn't like the gluten rotis. Do you have plans to expand into the gluten-free versions at some point? Is that on cards?
I think as we hear people are looking for that, we're definitely open. What we did recently is we made the sides optional. So we're not automatically sending roti because some people like to make their own roti at home, or they like, the fulkas, from the Indian grocery store. So we wanted to make sure people were able to enjoy what they liked. So the sides are just now an add-on. So if you need it, you can add it on. Cool. All right. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Let me see. Do this without spilling too much water. All right. So I'm gonna kind of eyeball.
What is that? The in your hand?
Yes, this is my hot water.
No, the cups. What are they? Each one of them.
Oh yeah, so this is the pav bhaji, and then this is the masala poha here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna try to do this. I'm definitely gonna spill if I pour it. So I'm just gonna do this. So I'm just doing a couple of spoons of hot water and the pav bhaji. I'm just gonna mix that.
And it's pretty granular, I remember. And so it cooks pretty fast. It doesn't
Yeah,
take.
this one is basically, I mean, this one's done. Like I could probably eat it right now. There you go.
Yeah. One of the questions, Achila, while you prepare, just to keep the conversation here, right? So, people are like, yeah, I won't eat this daily, right? And do you want to comment on that, right? It's not intended to be a daily, but from time to time. For me, it's like, okay, 2 days in a week or 1 day in a week, I'm like, what do I cook? Or when we go on a long trip, I'm absolutely buying, and I posted about that on the group as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to answer that. I think what we see ourselves as is whatever you need. I think we have options for it, right? Because if you're looking for a solution for every day, we have, more than 30 meals. You can mix it up. You won't get bored. And, if you're looking for something once in a while, we have that too. So I think it really, it's what works for you. If you're just looking for something where dinner every day you have covered and it's easy for you to make it, but lunches have been difficult, or you want to pack lunch more instead of eating at the office or eating outside, you can quickly take a poha packet with you. So it just kind of expedites some of those things and gives you more time back in your day. So you're not constantly trying to figure out, what's for lunch, what's for dinner. You have a couple of things just like in your pantry that you can pull out at any time. You can still add fresh veggies. You can still pair it with other foods that you're eating. If you can supplement it. But really, I think the company is here to just give you more flexibility and give you more time back.
That reminds me, how do you, so that Eat Like is trying to also get feedback, right? On new recipes people would like to see, or concerns, right? What is the feedback system like? Do you collect it on your website or any social media? How does it go? Like
I would say we're always open for feedback. And I would say actually by the time we finish talking, both of them are done. So like a little taste test. But yeah, so we're always open for feedback. You can email us. So we have a email hello@thecuminclub.com, which I personally check. And so the other two founders, as I mentioned, it's a pretty small team. And then on social media, I'm also the one managing the account. So if you ever message us, I get that and we're able to take it back. But we make a lot of improvements actually based on customer feedback. So I'll give you a recent example. In our sambar idli that we had launched last year, we had pieces of drumstick pods in there because in South India, it's very traditional to have that. In Canada, we call it nugekai, right? So I grew up with that in my sambar, loved it. But as we sold it to people started giving me feedback. I don't, I like the flavor of it, but I don't like, having to, take it out of my mouth and like put it to the side. It wasn't something that they enjoyed doing that behavior. So we took their feedback. We took the drumstick pod out, but what we did is we scooped out the inside, got all the flavor, incorporated that into the sambar, and then just got rid of that like outside shell of it. So we're constantly, as people are telling us, this isn't working, this one, I think you could reduce the spice a little bit, increase this a little bit. We're always making those tweaks as we're seeing more and more consumers give us feedback.
Superb. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to show briefly before I go to the last question. You want to show our audience. We didn't plan, and now we have.
Yeah, this is a demo. Here we go. So here goes. This is it. The boha is done. I didn't really measure the water. So this is like ready to eat. So I will eat it. It's very good.
Yeah.
It's delicious. It's actually one of my favorites.
Yeah, and I can imagine squeezing lemon, like do whatever on top of it, right?
So good. This is the pav bhaji here. I know it's like not, but you can put it on if you have pav at home, if you have a piece of toast. Sometimes my husband and I, when we don't have a ton of time, we have like crackers, and we kind of almost use it as a dip. But this, I think the pav bhaji is like one of the fastest things where, in literally about two minutes or so after you put the hot water in, ready to go. So, your kid is hungry, running around, and you're looking for, a solution in the next just couple of minutes to get them some food in their hands. Like, this is a great way to do that.
Superb. What's on cards in 2023 for Cumin Club? What's coming up?
Good question. So one of the big things that we launched earlier this year was called Cumin Club Pantry. So super exciting. We know that a lot of Indian immigrants who have come here, or even Indian Americans like me, one thing that's hard to find on an easily accessible basis is the snacks that we love. So meals is one thing, but what are we snacking on in between meals? So we launched 12 different items from all over India, very unique things that are challenging to find outside of Indian grocery stores. So things like peanut chikki, methi kakra, banana chips from Kerala, jackfruit chips, chutney puri, from the south. So we have all of these really amazing snack options where, it's really a great supplement. And we also have, masala chai in there as well. So, if you're living somewhere where it's hard to go find an Indian store, like this is a great way to have it come to you. Everything faster than instant Maggi noodles. That's right. It's a great comment. Yeah, so I would say that's the big thing we just came out with. We have some really exciting product launches coming up. I'm not allowed to drop too many secrets. I'll probably get in trouble. But I will say, as you think about the most popular dishes in India, there's a couple that we've been working on, and we've been taking some time to perfect them because we know they're really, really important. So that's coming up in the next few months for us. And the hope is to formally roll out in Canada, and also make a bigger splash in India as well. So that's the big stuff for us.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's where people think. So there is NTR, and I'm not calling to say, these brands I haven't tried, to be honest. And I'm not drawn to trying because it's a lot of carbs. I try to eat healthy mostly. How would you compare yourself to some of the dry, ready to eat? For me, it was health. It was healthy. I had so many options, and it was healthy. I would let you comment. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what you're seeing typically in MTR, or I think there's Khazana, Pataks, they usually have those like pouches, right, that you put in the microwave and that you heat up. Those are preserved in a very different way. So for that process, what they do is they put all of the food in the pouch fully cooked, and then they sterilize the bag completely so it's able to last in your pantry for up to 2 years, right? It's a completely different preservation method. And in my opinion, we've had some like taste tests on within our company and outside of our company as well. There's that like aftertaste, right? It like tastes like a little bit metallic or a little bit weird, it's not going to feel like fresh food. And I think that taste aspect is really where we differ. And also I think just the regionality, right? So they're going to give you like the basics of Indian food. We're going to go one step further and say, we're actually focused on regional cuisines. Like in Indian food isn't just one thing, right? It's so multi-layered. We want everyone to feel represented with their food. And then that's really important to us.
Yeah. And I mentioned oil, carbs. It's the options that they have has a lot of carbs, and that's why I never buy. For me, making pongal is faster in that sense. And then I'm also seeing Dr. Nadkarni, you have said oil. There is too much oil. Indeed true. If you can check the ingredients, preservatives present in that. And I'm also, one thing that came to my mind is the group has a lot of non-Indians who are trying to experiment and get into this space. They want to try paneer butter masala. They don't know where to start. So this is an excellent, this is how they start experiment, because the spices are all there. Now they don't have to buy, somebody starting on this food, and it's like me trying Asian or Thai food or Korean food, which I don't know much, but this is a great way to start and then explore, right? So this is
Absolutely. And I will say, like, we know that, even within our Indian community or non-Indian community, people enjoy a different range of spices. So we have, different options. Like our Malabar korma, for example, is a very low spice level. Our pav bhaji is closer to the top. One of the spiciest dishes we have is actually the misal pav. So if you ever had that street like in India, like it's so spicy for me. But we know that from an authenticity perspective, that's what people are looking for. So we have a mix of options so people can come in and try what's working for them. And as we get more feedback of like, hey, we need more low-level spice dishes, hey, we need more high-level spice dishes, we're constantly taking that and we're fine.
Or the same dish like we do in restaurants, right? Try a medium spice version and a high spice version.
I hope so. Yeah, I think if that, that is something we've been talking about a lot in terms of how to make sure everyone is able to enjoy it.
Wonderful. Actually, I'm super excited, and I was telling my friends, I see you guys going into Whole Foods and whatnot, because
I hope so.
it's not frozen food like the ready-made packaged frozen food, but it's preserved. You can keep it. What is the shelf life? Perhaps that would be useful for our audience.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it differs based on what the dish is.
Mhm.
But I would say at a minimum 4 weeks and up to 20 weeks. So it's not going to be as long as all that microwavable food that's like good for 2-3 years. This is stuff that, within probably like a month or two, I would finish up, because the way we preserve it, everything is like sealed for freshness, but it has no preservative. So which means it's not going to last as long as some of those other types of food, like, frozen or
Yeah, because it's a live food, it's a living food. That's why, right? There is
exactly.
still it's not 2 years, for example.
It's not 2 years.
Okay, wonderful. And by any chance, and this is out of my own curiosity, if you guys show up at a wholesale market, right, that would be another avenue where people can find and try, and it's also sampling, right? Again, my taste is different from
Yeah,
another person, so that
absolutely.
would be another avenue. If we could get a sampler packet of everything, like pick
Yeah,
one, which ones I love. Okay.
absolutely. I think that's a great idea. Thank you.
Yeah. Any closing thoughts, Ashla? I mean, one thing was the link for Eat Like members, but feel free to share anything else you want to.
Sure. I would just say, I know people probably have a lot of questions about packaged food, especially Indian packaged food, and it's totally valid, right? For so many years, there's all these brands out there that just, it seems like it's just for, college kids or people that don't really know what real Indian food tastes like. And our company is here to change that, because, as we talked about, it's just a bunch of Indian people who really, really enjoy our home cooked food that we're trying to figure out how to get to people in a healthier way. And there's a lot of people like us who are busy professionals, just like you, Shri, where we're just trying to find, good food to eat on an everyday basis. And, for me, I know I work for this company, but, I'm eating this a couple of times a week because, we're working long hours. I have just a few minutes between meetings. It's solving a real problem for me, and we've heard that it solves, it's a lot of problems for other people out there who have, similar lifestyles.
No, and I fed it to kids. So you're saying we are eating and then feeding it. That's how safe I, after reading the ingredients, I felt. And I can imagine carrying these to office, hot water, coffee pot, hot water, and then the food is ready, right?
Totally. I mean, like, why are we still I mean, I love Maggie. I'm never gonna give up Maggie, but I mean, this is a great alternative. It takes the same amount of time, sometimes even faster.
Wonderful. Well, I wish you the very best. And this was a very good interview addressing many of the questions that came up on the group. And we wish you the very best. If this next year, I'm looking forward to new recipes and flavors to try. And I will drop the link. You will drop the link. The recording is available for people to see on the group as well. Yeah.
Sounds good. And we do have a special code for Eat Light members. Should I mention that now?
Yeah. This is
okay. So we have the code EATLIGHT20, so EATLIGHT 20 for members of this group specifically to get 20% off their first box. So if you're looking to try us, you know, take a look around. I would say, you know, give us a try. If you're looking just to sample a few, you know, check us out on Amazon. We recently just launched, so that's a good way to try a couple before you get invested. And if you have any questions, you know, please, you know, feel free to reach out. I am the person that's checking email, that's checking social. So I'm always available to help answer questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much also to our audience for the good questions you asked. Always the product improves better when people engage, and I embrace you as a very good solution for our Eat Light community and it's for a healthy future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shri.
Ashla.